Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite Yap artist. I saw something that I wanted to look at today. I figured let's just knock it out in a Clips channel video. The 2025-2026 NBA GM survey. I love looking at these every year. It gives us a nice little insight into what people inside the league are thinking is going to happen this upcoming year. I know nothing of this. I saw it. I was looking up some stats earlier, saw that the NBA.com had this on their website, and I said, all right, perfect. I'll look at this. I know nothing. I don't know anything that's been said in this. So this will be a nice first time read. Let's take a drink of water before we get there. Let's take a drink of water before we get in there. And let's get down to business. If you guys haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you do so. There will be pretty much daily content on this channel once the season officially starts. You'll see live stream highlights, which is what I posted a couple days ago. And I'm thinking, every morning might just do a quick little ramble video about something from the night before, from the games the night before that I found interesting. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and make sure you leave a like, guys. It's free. For the love of God, it's free. All right, 49 questions. God damn. All right, maybe we don't get through all of this, but let's see. Let's see here. The annual surveys here. NBA general managers react to key topics before the 25-26 season. Do we know how many there are? How many guys answered here? 49 questions. Let's get into it. Which team will win the 2026 NBA Finals? We're starting with this one. Number one is the Oklahoma City Thunder with 80%. Wow. The Cavaliers, 7%. The Denver Nuggets, 7%. Also receiving votes, the Houston Rockets and the New York Knicks. So interesting right off the rip there. I think the Thunder will win the finals too. That's kind of where I'm at. We haven't had a repeat champion since the Warriors did it. We're getting close to a decade ago. So it's kind of unprecedented. It's been this long since we've had a repeat champion. The Thunder have a great chance. Interesting that the Cavs are tied for second. I'm assuming 7% of the votes here is 2 votes. So interesting that the Cavs, the Nuggets to me are the clear-cut number 2. And I think part of that is I just think the 2 best teams in the league are in the Western Conference. So Thunder Nuggets, if those 2 teams were to meet in the conference finals, that's probably the NBA Finals. You hear people say that stuff sometimes, and sometimes it ends up not being true. But those 2 teams, in my opinion, are the best in the league, especially when it gets to playoff time. Interesting that the Rockets, without Fred VanVleet, are still getting a vote. I do find that interesting. I wonder if maybe this was before then. That could explain some stuff. But Eastern Conference rankings, we have the Cavs as comfortable number 1, 63% of the votes at number 1, with the Knicks at 30%. The Orlando Magic getting a vote. How about that? The Bucks getting a second place vote. Interesting. Interesting. Well, I'm a little bit surprised by this. I think the Knicks are probably the best team in the Eastern Conference, but maybe if you want to say that's come playoff time and the Cavs are just a better regular season team, I think I could potentially agree with that. So that does make some sense to me. Orlando getting a ton of love. Easily a top 3 team here according to the votes. Interesting. Philly getting some love for the 4th seed. Detroit, who's not here? I'm surprised no Indiana, like a vote for Boston, but not a vote for Indiana. I think Indiana is probably better suited than Boston is. All right, in the Western Conference, all right, here we go. I've already seen something that's hilarious to me. All right, the Thunder comfortably number 1, Nuggets number 2, Rockets number 3. Nothing too surprising there at the top 4, I would say. Golden State's been getting a ton of love lately. We looked at this on stream yesterday that ESPN, Kevin Pelton's model had them at 60 or 54 wins or 56 wins or something like that. I mean, I would be shocked. I'm not super high on this Golden State team. They're just so fucking old. So old. And when you're in a conference that's kind of filled with young, super athletic, ginormous teams, I'm worried about this Golden State team through and through. I'm worried about them. But people seem to be high on them. So I guess time will tell. You got the Lakers getting some votes. The Mavs do get a second place vote. So that was Nico Harrison for sure. But they also get a 4th place vote, and the Spurs come in with a 4th place vote. So who's missing from this list that you would traditionally put in here? No Memphis love. Nobody voted Memphis in the top 4. Trying to think off the top of my head. Nobody voted Sacramento top 4. Phoenix, Portland. That all makes sense to me. So, but hey, whoever voted Dallas number 2, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Who will win 25-26 Kia MVP? Jokic number 1 at 67%. Okay, interesting. Luka number 2, only 10% of the votes. That's surprising to me, really. Shea at number 3, Wemby number 4, Giannis and Donovan Mitchell all receiving votes. Last year they got it right. Wow, really? Last year they predicted that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander would win MVP, and he did. That's actually kind of crazy. I think I get the Jokic stuff. We kind of saw this a couple years ago where Embiid, who I thought was, kind of deserving of an MVP, but I did feel like it was sort of a pity. Okay, Embiid kind of deserves one. Let's get him one. Mixed with Jokic hasn't won yet. So we don't want to give him 3 MVPs in a row. So let's give it to Embiid. And funny enough, Jokic went on to win the NBA Finals that year. And then the next year, Jokic won. So I kind of feel like we could see something similar to that, where Jokic had a great season last year, and people are like, all right, we went somewhere else last year. Let's go back to Jokic, especially if this Nuggets team is as good as people think it'll be, mid-50s in wins, second in the conference. That should be enough to get him there. I really do think Luka has every single narrative on his side. I just do not know. And the closer we get to the season, I stare at this roster, this Lakers roster. I'm just like, man, this team just feels shit to me. It really does. I'm sorry. It feels shit. I don't know if they're going to win enough games. Shea, at only 8%, what if the Thunder wins 70 games and he's averaging 30 again? That's a pretty hard MVP case to ignore. And Wemby will always be here. Wemby, the freight train is going to leave the station. It could be leaving the station now. If you were starting a franchise today and could sign any player in the NBA, who would it be? Wemby, the overwhelming favorite over Shea. Jokic getting a vote is kind of crazy since he's 30 years old. But yeah, I mean, this makes all the sense in the world. You're buying into a 30-year player who's in his low 20s. I don't know his exact age. Who's 7'5" and is the most impactful defensive player in the entire NBA. And that alone makes him one of the most impactful players in the NBA. And then you add on all of the upside he has offensively. This is an easy choice. I'm surprised it's not 100, honestly. I really am. I get the Shea and Jokic thing, but yeah, I'd much rather have, if I'm starting a franchise, I'd much rather have Victor Wembanyama than Shea. I mean, much rather have him. Which player forces opposing coaches to make the most adjustments? Jokic, Giannis, Steph, Luka, Shea. Nothing really too crazy here. Last year was Luka with 33% of the votes. So Jokic is a big-time winner of this one. What player is most likely to have a breakout season in 25-26? All right, this is interesting. Amen Thompson, number 1, pretty comfortably. With his brother Asar tied for second. With Brandon Miller and Victor Wembanyama, I want to shake the Brandon Miller guy's hand. I want to shake whoever voted for Brandon Miller. I want to shake their hands. Because I'm in on Brandon Miller this year. If you guys watch my top 100 list, I had him pretty high, much higher than the consensus. Barely played last year, had a great rookie year, showed tons of flashes as a scorer. And in the brief 20-something games we saw him in last year, really showed strides as a playmaker. And that's the stuff that's really interesting to me. So I'm in on Brandon Miller. I'm in on that. Amen Thompson is the obvious candidate, especially with Fred VanVleet's injury. He's probably going to get a more extended role, and we know what he's capable of. I mean, Victor Wembanyama could be a most improved player candidate, as crazy as that is to say. If he really blossoms as an offensive guy, 100%. Also receiving votes, Denny. I'd say Denny had his breakout last year. I don't know how much more there is for Denny, to be honest with you. Stephon Castle, Jalen Green. I'm not fucking walking down that road again. Jalen Johnson, kind of similar to Denny, similar to Shea in the past, where it's Jalen Johnson, I think, had his breakout already. It's just he got hurt halfway through the season. Tyrese Maxey, what step is there for Tyrese Maxey to take, really? Sar's interesting. Şengün, maybe. Reed Shepard, Jabari Smith Jr. God damn, the whole Rockets roster's on here. Jesus. Zion? Last year, Jalen Williams, he did have a breakout year. All-NBA guy, all-star. Did he make an all-star team? He did, didn't he? But again, he kind of already did have a breakout, sort of. Who is the best point guard in the NBA? Uh-oh. Don't show this one. Don't show this one to the Luka stands. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, number 1, comfortably over Luka. Yeah, I mean, these are the top guys. I don't really want to get into the weeds on this, honestly. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander just averaged 30 points per game on a team that damn near won 70 games and won the NBA Finals. And he was Finals MVP and MVP. This isn't much of a surprise that people think this way, okay? Especially coming off of the year Luka had, where he was still good, still a great, impactful player, but was nowhere near as good as Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was last year. Okay, there's no arguing that. So I don't know what the fuck I just clicked. I don't know what the hell just happened. All right, look at Steph still getting votes. Grandpap Steph, best shooting guard in the NBA. Anthony Edwards, comfortably, in my opinion. Donovan Mitchell second. Luka's not a shooting guard. There's not even an argument to be made that Luka's a shooting guard, so I don't know what's going on there. Okay. Luka Doncic ranked as the best small forward in the NBA. I don't get these distinctions. They make no sense at all. Luka is not a small forward. He's the point guard. The ball's in his hands pretty much every single time. He's the all-time leader in usage rate, all-time leader in playoff usage rate. He's a point guard through and through. So I get you. You just kind of cleverly do this to sneak in guys, but this is just a weird grouping in general. Like the small forward position, if you were to do it traditionally, is very weird right now. Even Tatum, like would we consider Tatum a 3 or a 4? I'm trying to think about what those lineups usually look like. Like KD is a 3, maybe I guess on this Rockets team. LeBron still getting votes, Kawhi still getting votes, Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler, J-Dub. Okay. Giannis, the best power forward. Who's voting Mobley over Giannis? I'd love to know that. Because isn't 7% of the vote too? Who is picking Mobley over Giannis? What could even be the rationale behind that? I'd love to know. Jokic, the best center, comfortably. Somebody voted Wemby. I like that. I respect that. Highest percentage of total votes on position questions, Jokic, Giannis, Shea, Anthony Edwards, and Luka. Which I would say is pretty much everyone's top 5 usually. Typically, these 5 guys are pretty much everyone's top 5. Maybe you can replace Ant with like Wemby or something. But yeah, that makes sense. Which team made the best overall moves this offseason? The Hawks, comfortably in first place. Yeah, I would say pound for pound, the Hawks made the best moves. Not a lot of risk taken by them whatsoever. In the ceiling and upside in the moves they made is very, very high. Like if KP gets over whatever horrible illness that befalled him last year and can turn into this ceiling breaking floor space, 7'3" floor spacer for them that can play alongside Okongwu, and then they can have Jalen Johnson out there. And then you have this ginormous lineups out there that can all shoot and space the floor. Like, yeah, that's incredible. They really didn't give up much to get him. He's on an expiring contract. There's next to no risk there. Then, of course, the trade with the Pelicans. Like, yeah, a huge upside pick next year in a draft class that's loaded. God, that was such a horrible fucking trade by them, man. So a great move by them, 100%. I think they did have the best offseason just from the perspective of, hey, we got better as a team, probably, right? You know, I'm a little bit concerned about their bench unit, losing Karis LeVert. Right, but going out and getting Nickeil Alexander-Walker is really nice. Did they bring in any backup guards? Because they let my boy Kobe Buffkin go for nothing, which pains me. Rockets number 2, yeah. I mean, they dramatically improved their ceiling. Nuggets number 3, yeah. I'd say the Magic to me had a better offseason than like Denver, only because I think the Magic significantly improved their ceiling by bringing in a guy like Desmond Bane, whereas the Nuggets they did get better. They needed to get more well-rounded, and they did. Celtics, man, I hate this shit. No, the Celtics did not have one of the best off seasons. Fine. Give them a round of applause for saving money by not having to give up picks, but they got significantly worse. They can't have the best off season. Which one player will make the biggest impact? Kevin Durant, Houston, yeah. Desmond Bane, Orlando. Those 2 are the big ones, obviously. Cooper Flagg to Dallas. All right, Drew to Portland. Interesting. Miles Turner, Milwaukee. I'd love to know the Drew to Portland rationale. Is that the Blazers GM? Is that who answered that? Can you answer with your own team on these questions? Is there an enforcement agency that checks those things? I'd love to know this. Who is the most underrated player acquisition? Here you go. You guys know my stance on this. There's no such thing as overrated, underrated, anything. Everything's both underrated and underrated at the same time. Desmond Bane, underrated by what? They gave up 5 picks. Like, I don't know if I would say underrated there. Cam Johnson, they gave up what could be a very valuable first-round pick. Kristaps. Lonzo kind of fits maybe the underrated tier, where it's like it's February and Lonzo's put together a 10-game stretch where the Cavs have a 102 defensive rating when he's on the floor, and everyone's like, whoa, my God, I forgot they got Lonzo. Like, this is crazy. John Collins to the Clippers. That could actually be interesting. I think Drew to Portland actually is underrated. People hate that move for some reason, and I think it could be good for them, actually, through and through. Like, I like it. Let's see what some of the receiving votes are. Ayton, really? Ayton to the Lakers is underrated. Rob Pelinka, you're not fooling a single fucking soul with that answer, buddy. Bradley Beal to the Clippers. Jalen Green to Phoenix. A lot of Jalen Green mentioned so far. Kevon Looney to the Pelicans. Would love to hear that rationale. Would love to hear it. Well, last year they said Alex Caruso, and it was a great addition, obviously. Which team will be most improved? 25-26, the Orlando Magic. I mean, they'll be improved just if Franz and Paolo don't miss huge chunks of time, both with the same injury. And Jalen Suggs doesn't miss huge chunks of time. They'll be improved just off that alone. But yeah, getting Desmond Bane, I mean, it catapults them into another tier entirely. And also, if you just assume that growth can sometimes be somewhat linear, Franz and Paolo continue their ascent as players. Yeah, 100%. I think so. Hawks, Spurs, Sixers, Pelicans. Yeah, okay. Last year, Memphis Grizzlies, that ended up not being true. I guess they were a little bit improved, but what was the most surprising move of the offseason? Yeah, the combination of the wave and stretching Damian Lillard and Miles Turner going to Milwaukee has to be up there. Like that has to be the answer. That was shocking. Absolutely shocking. And some of these other ones like Atlanta, New Orleans draft trade. Yeah, that was a little bit crazy. Celtics breaking up their core. What GM was surprised by that? They need to be fired. I need to know what GM saw the Celtics making their moves and didn't foresee that. They need to be fired immediately. If it came out that the GM of my favorite team thought that was surprising, I'd want them fired on the spot. All right, straight up. DeAndre Ayton signing with the Lakers, same thing. MPJ trade to Brooklyn, Schroeder to Sacramento. What? That's the most surprising move. Seriously, Schroeder going to Sacramento. Young and handsome drafted number 16. I watched some young handsome highlights. He's slow. I'm not too. I think I'm out. I got to be real. I think I'm out. Who will win the Rookie of the Year this year? Cooper Flagg with the most votes, 97%. So one guy voted for VJ Edgecombe, Daryl Morey, obviously. Reed Shepherd got 50% of votes last year, so that doesn't make me too confident, but different circumstances entirely. Which rookie will be the best player in 5 years? Cooper Flagg, overwhelming, 93%. I don't like what I'm seeing down here. Also receiving votes, VJ Edgecombe and Dylan Harper. Reed Shepherd, last year's draft class, who knows, right? Who knows? Still a long ways to go there. Last year was Reed Shepherd. 5 years ago was James Wiseman. So I can't say that encourages me much. Cannot say that encourages me much. Who's going to be the biggest steal where you selected in the draft? I'm not reading through all this. Number 1 is Kasparis Jakučionis, who the Miami Heat picked at 10. Ace Bailey at 5. Got a few votes. Carter Bryant, I think, is a good choice here. He got 14 votes. I'm sorry, he was drafted 14th. And then you have pretty much everybody in the draft also receiving votes. So how about Toronto? Taylon Peter, 54, getting a vote. Well, there you go, 54th overall. Best international player in the NBA, Jokic, number 1. Luka and Shea both receiving votes, but Jokic comfortably number 1 here. Who's the best international player not in the NBA? I love when they do this. Sasha Vesnikov, 44%, not 43. Not 43. Look, a bunch of... is Kendrick Nunn really considered an international player? Okay. Isaac Bonga, who did have a great Euro basket. Some people think he should be in the league. Jetty Osman, retired recently. Nikola Mirotic is still one of the crazier ones to me. Just in his prime, said, I'm done. I'm done with the NBA. I'm going to Europe. Who's the best defensive player in the NBA? And Wemby comfortably number 1. Gobert's still getting some votes. There's no way. Mobley, obviously reigning defensive player of the year, also getting some votes. Giannis, just not anymore, I don't think. Lou Dort is a great defender. He's just not as impactful as a guy like Wemby. That's just the truth. I mean, Wemby should be 100%. I'm just being honest with you. Best perimeter defender in the NBA. Dyson Daniels, number 1. How about that? Followed by Alex Caruso. I mean, I think Caruso is the best, personally. But no shame in Dyson Daniels. Amin Thompson, obviously, will be up here. Lou Dort, Drew Holiday still getting some votes. I don't think that's true at all anymore. And Asar Thompson getting a vote. Some Asar Thompson love sprinkled in here, and I'm happy people are seeing it. Like, people give Amin Thompson all the love, and rightfully so. Don't get me wrong, but Asar is like not that far behind him in some ways. Best interior defender in the NBA, Wemby overwhelmingly. Hey, AD getting a vote, the first AD sighting. AD getting a vote. Zubac's also getting a vote. I mean, obviously it's Wemby. Most versatile defender in the NBA. Amin Thompson, number 1. Yeah, I think that I would agree with that. Draymond, number 2. Obviously, Draymond's always going to be up there. I'd say Mobley. Mobley's up there as well. OG. Good to see OG because I was literally just thinking him as well. Some other guys getting votes. Asar, Tari Eason, Tumani Kamara. Yeah, I mean, Giannis's defense at this point, I think his reputation precedes him. I don't think he's as good of a defender as he was a few years ago when he was winning Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know how much of that is age, how much of that is just a huge burden offensively now, even bigger than he used to be. Draymond's getting older. He's still such a great, incredible defender. I think I like the Amin Thompson shout here. I think he probably is the most versatile defender in the NBA. Best defensive team in the NBA. I mean, clearly the Thunder. I don't even know how there's a conversation for anyone else really, but it's clearly the Thunder. 83% of the vote. Best head coach in the NBA, Spoelstra. I'm actually surprised to see Spoelstra as number one over Dagnall, personally, coming off of a championship. But Spoelstra is still 52% of the vote. He was the pick last year as well. Ty Lue getting some love. Rick Carlisle getting a vote. Coming off that finals run. Nick Nurse as well. Interesting. All right. That was Daryl Morey, 100%. Which head coach is the best manager / motivator of people? Spoelstra, number one. Ime, number two. Joe Mazzulla and his insane psychotic ass, tied for third with Steve Kerr. No Jason Kidd love. Come on, bro. Learn ball, NBA GMs. I'm just fucking around. Actually, no, I'm not. Head coach has the best in-game management adjustments. Ty Lue's always at the top of these. 40% this year. Last year, he was number one as well. But Ty Lue is always at the top of these. This is like his bread and butter, or his in-game adjustments. Dagnall, Rick Carlisle, Spoelstra. I mean, it's the same names really over and over for these. Rick Carlisle runs the best offense. No surprise there at all. He gets an overwhelming amount of the vote, 53%. Absolutely no surprise. I mean, that we even saw that Pacers' offensive system can work even without Halliburton at the helm. So I'm really interested to see their season. I think they'll be better than people think. Which head coach has the best defensive schemes? Yeah, Dagnall's got to be the guy here. Udoka as well. Yeah, obviously the Heat always do insane shit defensively. So Spoelstra is always up here. Joe Maz. No kid. Gotta ask. Best assistant coach in the NBA, Mike Nori, number one. Mike Nori was number one last year as well. Jeff Van Gundy. Crazy Van Gundy's a assistant coach. Anyone from the vaunted Dallas Mavericks staff? No? We're getting, hey, man, they're hating on us, man. Sean Sweeney got a vote. He left the Mavericks this past summer and went to San Antonio. And people think he'll be a head coach soon. Look at that. Darvin Ham getting a vote in Milwaukee. Good for Darvin Ham. Which active player will make the best head coach someday? Chris Paul, number one. It's always the point guards. I kind of feel like Chris Paul's a little too psychotic. I don't know. We'll see. See, like Mike Conley, I could get. He seems like a nice guy. Not like nice that like not too nice, because you don't want a head coach to be too nice, but locked in, but in a more calm way, right? TJ McConnell, Fred VanVleet, all point guards. Garrett Temple's always mentioned on these. Drew Holiday, again, mostly point guards, and then Garrett Temple. Kyle Anderson, Luke Cornett, Andrew Nembhard. Interesting. Huh. The Andrew Nembhard one is interesting to me. I'd love to hear why from that person. That has to be the Pacers GM. Which team is the most fun to watch? Nuggets and Thunder tied for number one. Yeah, I mean, two of the best players in the world. And then it's obviously so much fun watching Jokic operate. And it is fun watching the Thunder defense just terrorize people. Pacers, yeah. Warriors, Timberwolves. Orlando Magic got a most fun to watch vote. I don't know if I'd go there. Maybe this year. Maybe if their offense is better. Their games are more of slog fests than anything. Best home court advantage, Nuggets and Thunder both tied for first place, receiving the most votes. Obviously, Denver has that altitude advantage that, there's plenty of numbers that back this up. Legitimately huge, ginormous advantage for them. The Thunder, I went to Game 5, Thunder Nuggets last year. I've been 2 years in a row, actually, weirdly enough, to Thunder playoff games. Went for Game 5 of the conference semis a couple years ago when the Mavericks were playing them and won that game, by the way. I was in attendance. It was awesome. Luka threw a full court lob damn near to Derek Lively. It was sick. Yeah, it's an incredibly loud environment and a really good fan environment. They're in their seats 20 minutes before the game starts. They're standing the entire time, and it's good. It's good. Knicks have a great home court advantage as well. Which team will have the league's most efficient offense this season? The Cavs at number one. Were they number one last year? Is that where they ended up finishing? Yeah, Cavs are a good shout. One thing that they have in their favor that you always have to think about is the continuity. So they'll come out the gates already knowing the ins and outs of their offensive system. Thunder number 2, Nuggets number 3. Yeah, surprised not to see like a Lakers shout. I could absolutely see the Lakers having one of the best offenses in the league this upcoming season. Oh, finally, we get some Mavericks love. Which team level of success this season is toughest to predict? Sixers comfortably number 1. And then, there's a bunch of teams tied for number 2, but Mavericks, Warriors, Rockets, Clippers, Lakers, Grizzlies, Pelicans, all tied for number 2. Sixers, overwhelming favorites. Is it that tough? I mean, I guess if there's a part of you that's like, no, Paul George could be healthy and really good, and Embiid could be healthy and play like an MVP. If there is part of you who thinks that, then I understand this. I don't think that at all, really. So for me, it's not tough to predict. I don't think they'll be very good. Mavericks, and maybe this is just because I'm a Mavericks fan. I think the Mavericks are the most difficult team to try and get an understanding of heading into this season. Like, the Warriors, are they really that tough to predict? The Rockets, are they that tough to predict? The Lakers, Clippers, are they that tough to predict? They'll probably just be rock solid teams, Celtics are a decent shout. I think that they are kind of a difficult team. What team has the most promising young core? OKC. Number 1 with 50% coming off of a fucking ring. Ugh. It's insane. Second youngest team to ever win the NBA Finals since the Bill Walton Trailblazers. And they have the most promising young core according to NBA GMs. Spurs, 27%. They've got a great young core as well. Oh, man. What player is the most athletic? Amin Thompson, comfortably number 1 here. Anthony Edwards, number 2. I mean, I'm assuming Asar got a vote. He did. LeBron's still getting votes. Who voted LeBron? Someone voted 41-year-old LeBron, still a great athlete. But someone voted 41-year-old LeBron as the most athletic player in the NBA. Hilarious. What player is the best pure shooter? Oh, here we go. Steph Curry gets 93% of the vote. Klay Thompson does get a couple votes. Shout out to the captain. De'Aaron Fox, fastest player with the ball. He's always number 1. John Morant, Tyrese Maxey, obviously. Amin Thompson, Jaden Ivey. The best at moving without the ball, it's Steph Curry, and it's not even really close. Best passer, Jokic, number 1, with Luka, number 2. Yeah, those two are unquestionably the 2 best passers in the league, with Trae Young, number 3, and Harden, number 4. I think that's actually legitimately rock solid. Who's the best leader? Steph Curry, number 1. Jalen Brunson, number 2. All right, JB. Love that. Captain of the New York Knicks. Putting the team and the whole city, really, if you've been following New York sports at all. Catastrophe after catastrophe lately. So Jalen Brunson is putting the entire city on his back in a lot of ways. Jokic, number 3. I mean, it's all the best players in the league. LeBron's still getting votes. Mike Conley's still getting votes. Love that. JT still getting votes, even though he's probably not going to play this year. Most versatile player in the league. Giannis and Wemby tied for number 1. Okay. Difficult question to answer. Like Jokic got a vote. Is Jokic that versatile? He's a center through and through. If Tatum were healthy, I'd be interested to see where he ranks on this because he fits this mold pretty well. Yeah, I don't really think. I don't know. This question's weird to me. I don't know how I would answer that. Jokic gets voted for the best basketball IQ with LeBron also getting a good amount of votes. Chris Paul in here as well. What player would I want taking a shot? The game on the line, Steph Curry, the overwhelming selection here. It's shocking to see Jokic only getting 1 vote here, only because he's due to make some absolute fucking bullshit shot. KD, Tyrese Halliburton, obviously, the heroics, Luka, Shea. To be expected. Oh, okay, these are the ones I love right here. These are the ones that I actually love every year reading these. What rule most needs to change? Number 1. Oh, the GMs are done. The GMs have had it. Number 1 is the apron rules. Add a cap discount for own drafted players. Allow trading partial salaries. Make all minimum contracts the same. That is the number 1 pick. Yeah, I mean, this has been discussed before. The cap discount for drafted players makes a lot of sense. Allowing trading partial salaries, I've never really heard someone argue that, but that's interesting. I think most sports allow you to do that. I could be wrong. I know baseball does. Draft schedule back to 1 day, only lottery on day 1 after free agency. Okay, so after free agency is interesting, right? Only lottery on day 1. What the fuck? Why? But yeah, the 2-day NBA draft is a joke. They need to get rid of that. That's horrible. Game flow, continuous faster review. I'm in on that. That's number 1 for me. That right there. Hockey style subs. Hockey style subs. So players just run on the court. I've never heard someone argue that. That's quite interesting. That is okay. I've never heard that. All right. No live ball timeouts. Interesting. Hockey style subs. That would be hilarious to watch. So like you just have to have guys just sitting there ready. That could be really funny. I mean, this is number one for me, though. Improve the flow of the game, 100%. We've seen it. It works. It worked for baseball tremendously. Playoff format, seed 1 through 16. Yeah, I think that's something that could happen down the line. Top seeds choose opponents. Now, that would be so fucking good. You know, that could be the NBA saying, hey, we're playing into our league's kind of a soap opera. Let's add to it. The teams get to pick who they play. Change the playing format. I'd have to see that expanded upon. What does that mean? Draft system, can't draft in the top 6 in 3 straight years. I wouldn't be opposed to something like that. Shouldn't reward losing. Well, that's how the draft works. Higher penalties for cap circumvision. Oh, the Clippers might be fucked. The Clippers might be fucked. Schedule, fewer back-to-backs, no home road back-to-backs. All right. Also receiving votes, Elam ending. Interesting. I've been thinking about that one a little bit more. More G League experimentation. No disqualification on 6th foul. 1 shot plus ball. Interesting. I think you need to have foul outs. I think you have to have foul outs. Otherwise, guys would just be wilding the fuck out there. Yeah, okay. So really interesting. A lot of these questions are just way too similar, in my opinion. Like when we do the whole head coach thing, there's just the same 4 coaches cycled through for 12 questions. But, everyone thinks the Thunder are going to be incredible again. Overwhelming favorites to win this year. And everyone thinks Jokic will win MVP. I'm kind of surprised by that. MVP is wide open this year. Everyone thinks Cooper Flag is going to win Rookie of the Year. You never know, but everyone thinks it. It's just what everyone's thinking. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking, right? Wemby's kind of, Wemby's taken over as the best defensive player in the league. Not even really up for debate anymore after the year he had last year before he went out with injury. And again, the league rule changes are always interesting to me. Interesting to see how, the people inside the league are feeling. The apron stuff, GMs are pissed off. Could see that change. I'd have to imagine that changes at some point. But game flow, that's number one for me. I want to see that change as well. All right, make sure you guys like the video. Let me know what you guys think. I think I'm going to make something about what rule change needs, any rule changes and stuff like that. But